Okay, and then I was looking for something to read in conjunction with Black History Month, and this had been sitting on my bookshelf for probably 10 years, I think. Maybe not quite 10, because I believe this came out in 2008. And yeah, it's probably about 10 years, because I got this a year or two after it came out. Um, I think I probably had been kind of avoiding it just because, and this is a prejudice on my part, I think it was on Oprah's book club or something. And then I immediately kind of felt like, ew. I don't know. I have a thing about like, oh, if a book is too popular, it's probably not going to really be my thing, or I don't know. Um, so I'd kind of avoided it. This won the Commonwealth Writers Prize in 2008. Um, yeah, and with good reason. It's. I wish I hadn't sat on my shelf for 10 years. The main character is such an engaging narrator, and you want to hear every detail about her life. And yeah, she's an excellent storyteller. And it tells the story of Amanita Diallo from from the time that she is taken from her village by slave traders, her voyage across the sea, her time on a plantation, and then also her time as a house servant, well, house slave, I suppose, to when she runs away, through to her escape to Canada, and then from Canada, she goes back to Africa. This definitely would be one. I was thinking, even as I was reading it, I was thinking, oh, I would like to Google Map this. And I hopefully, maybe I still will before, and I post it and just put a link to it. Because it's definitely a story of a journey. Yeah, and so again, I mean, it's hard reading about the things that human beings do to each other. Um, and that makes it a difficult book to read, but the story, she just is such a good storyteller, and her life is truly amazing. And there's a terrible plot twist kind of three-quarters of the way through the book. Um, yeah, it was pretty mortifying, that little plot twist. I that was something, and I should have known there was foreshadowing. I don't like, as soon as it happened, I was like, oh yeah, of course, like right at the beginning of the book. There was foreshadowing for that, but I was so into the book I had kind of forgotten about it. And yeah. So when a book can do that, when a book can just take you along emotionally, and you can just get so engrossed in it that it can shock you and amaze you. Well, it didn't really amaze me, but it definitely shocked me. I actually gasped out loud and went, oh no. So I think when a book can do that, then you've got yourself a pretty excellent book. It's a thick book, but it reads really, really quickly. I don't think, like, there's not, the language is pretty simple, but also very poetic and beautiful in a way. So yeah, don't let the simplicity of the language fool you into thinking that it's not a good read. It definitely is. It's 470 pages, which I guess isn't like an excessive book, but it's definitely a bit of a longer book. But it still didn't take me very long to read. I think a week maybe, at most. So it was definitely a week well spent. So that was the Book of Negroes, by Lawrence Hill, and if I remember correctly, I gave it 5 stars. I don't think there was anything in it that made me think, oh, that could have been done better or anything. So, yeah, definitely highly, highly recommend if you haven't read it already, even though, like, we're well on into a decade later.